What's up, guys? So today is going to be another review video, and it's going to be about this. Not the head, not the mesh, but this. The new String King Metal 2 155 shaft. Now, when it's going with the 155, that's the weight. It's 155 grams, so very light, but it's not the lightest they've ever had. This is actually their second heaviest short pole length, which I'm glad they sent me the 155 because the lighter is not so much the better for me. The lighter it gets, the more I feel I will snap it. I did like the A7150 shaft, but I felt it was just a little too light for me, and so I stopped using it because I didn't want to snap it. Probably gonna give it to somebody that needs it more than I do. But so this is the attack length. It is 155 grams, and this shaft comes in at $130, which for a top end supposed to be one of their stronger shafts, that's not too arguable when it comes to, hey, that's a little expensive. If you think about it, a lot of your top end Warrior, STX, Brine, their more top end shafts are like $150. So as far as their second strongest shaft for the new line, that's a good price. So they have 5 levels of weight. The lighter it is, the weaker it'll be, unfortunately, but the heavier it is, the stronger it'll be. So I believe they're messing with like the contours of the metal as well as the thickness so that you can get strength. I don't believe they've changed so much the material, it's just the amount of it. But from their advertising, it seems like they did change up the material of the metal just a little bit. I don't know about the whole scandium, titanium, and all that stuff. I know that it's a blend of different materials, so it's not going to be like your Clutch Elite scandium, blah, 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 stuff like that. So it's the metal too. It's the attack, and I have the black version. There's, I believe, 3 different colors, but we're not going to worry about the colors right now. There's 5 levels of weight. There's 125 being the lightest. There's 135 being the second lightest. 145 being your middle ground. 155, which is the one I have, and then 165 being the strongest, also the heaviest. Now, they have recommendations for your age group. This is really important, so just kind of pay attention to that. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, that shaft's not light enough for me. That's too heavy. One, go get in the gym first off, and 2, this is very important because the lighter it is, the weaker it is. So let's just listen. 125 is best for your 11 and unders. So if you're 11, 12 and under, you're probably going to want to use this shaft because you're not strong enough to break it. Nobody in your age group is really able to break it or dent it too bad. So you're more working on the fundamentals than you are worrying about hitting each other, which you should be anyway. But so next up, your 135, your optimum age group is 12 to 14, so just about to get into high school area. So still on that, hey, I can't really hit as hard as I would really want to, but hey, kids are getting stronger every day. Next, your optimum is 145 for 15 to 17-year-olds. Now, the thing is, this chart isn't perfect science, but it's a good recommendation. 145 is optimum for 15 to 17-year-olds, so still at the kind of beginning to throughout high school, but that's like on the cusp of the lightest you should go for high school players. Then if you want to have stronger, if you're in high school and then beyond, your 18 and ups, your 155 and 165 are going to be your optimum ones for your stronger, but still wanting to have a light shaft. They're still insanely light. It's probably still one of my lightest shafts that I have that's metal. I have carbon fibers sitting around, but as far as metal shafts, it's one of my lightest now, even though it's their second heaviest. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about, hey, lighter's better. No, you're probably going to snap it. So they did a lot of research as far as the strength of the shaft. So they've messed with, again, I was talking about messing with the contour of the shaft and everything. The outside is the same as almost any shaft they've had so far, and pretty much any generic concave shaft out there right now. They kept their design, their logo design very simple. It comes with a safety warning sticker on it, which you can easily peel off. Although some people just tape over it, but whatever. It has the logo as to what it is, Metal 2, and then the weight next to it, and then it has String King on the other side. On the inside of the shaft, though, they mess with the thickness and the impact areas as to where the shaft is likely to break. I mean, they've had about a year and a half worth of research and returns and warranties and stuff to see just where and how a shaft breaks. So best way for people to get results is to turn in broken ones. Again, kind of talking about the material, they don't really give you specifics as to what they used, but in comparison to their old line of shafts, the new line of shafts are as such. Your Metal 2 125 is 5 grams lighter than the original Metal, which was their lightest. It used to be. Your 135 and 145 Metal 2s are in between the Metal and the Metal Plus, so kind of that middle ground. Your Metal Plus was at 150, which was kind of heavy, but still very, very light. So your Metal 2 155, 165 are supposed to be stronger, but also slightly heavier than your Metal Plus. So your range of weight is between 125 and 165 when it comes to String King shafts. So it's fairly light, very nice. If you want, I'm not really going to get into it, but definitely, you guys should definitely stick to paying attention to what your warranties are. What I used to do is take the receipt from wherever I bought it and actually put it into the shaft so I never lose it. But what String King says, and you can look it up yourself, is that you actually register your shaft because it has a designation code on it, so that if it breaks, you have a for sure tangible digital copy of, hey, my shaft is under warranty. So definitely a good idea from them. I know there's a decent amount of companies out there that have digital coding for the heads and stuff. They'll put like a logo or something inside of it so that they can scan it and be like, okay, you actually did buy this. This is not stolen. Blah, 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 all that in the bag of chips. But so the shaft still comes with the whole roll of tape and plastic butt end plug that goes into the bottom of the shaft, or just stick with the rubber like I did. But I put a decent kind of rounded off donut. It's almost like a fighter's donut because it's like wrapped and curved and stuff. But I'm a minimalist when it comes to tape. Even when I have gloves on, I usually only have like a few circles every now and then. But again, shaft very light. I like the black ones from String King because it has a slightly different texture than like their silver or nickel or gunmetal colored ones. It just has a different feel to it. But so the shaft, and I already talked about this with the head in another video, but the shaft has a new locking mechanism for the new head, new shaft combo. This emblem here is actually part of a bolt system to where the bolt and screw go completely and utterly through the shaft. So there is little, if none whatsoever, when it comes to head rattle. The head already fits very tightly to the shaft, especially if it's a String King to String King matchup. And then once you figure out putting the bolting system in there, I don't know if String King does, but I know one or two companies out there have done a very, very in-depth demonstration on how to put the bolting system in there. But it's fairly easy to figure out on your own. I think it's a great concept because in the old days, you would just take a screwdriver yourself and just screw another screw in the front to hold the head in place. But I don't believe that was actually legal back then. but people did it anyway. And most of the time, the refs don't pay attention to that sort of thing. So, all in all, I really like this shaft. I think it's a great improvement, and although it does kind of flood the market with more shafts, I think it's pretty cool that they have more so recommendations as to what weights will work best with what age groups, which most of the time you just say, hey, this material is good for this age group, or this is the lightest, this is super strong. They kind of keep it very simple, very, I don't really want to say it, but dumbed down to where the lighter it is, the weaker it is, the heavier it is, the stronger it is. They're staying true to that, and that's what I like, because I used to always have either a titanium or a wood shaft. So as strong as you can pretty much get, but also slightly on the heavy side. So again, I'm glad they sent me the 155 because I like to break sticks. Break sticks. Anyway, great shaft. I think you guys should give it a shot. If you're going to get the shaft, if you have the money or you have the time, honestly, I would just drop the money for the shaft and the head. Heck, go the whole 9 yards and just go all String King if you're gonna get the head and the shaft. And yeah, I mean, $130 for a top of the line shaft. I personally, I don't know if I would drop it, because I've had shafts last me years because I get the heavy stuff or the strong stuff. But if you have the money and you feel like you want to get something new, give it a shot. Not a bad price point for a really good shaft. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of this for your new String King Metal 2 shaft. And I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you liked the video. So I'll check you guys later.